When you see you guys at the rink at this point, what tells you they're in a good spot? Yes.
Oh, that's a good question, but it's hard to explain. You get to know your team so well over the course of 9 months that you just know when you know. I don't think there's any particular thing that I can say. This thing shows me this. We just have a tremendous leadership core group that I believe in at a high level. They've earned that belief. We've been through worse things than this in the last 2 years, and a lot of the core guys have been here for 2 years. So, yesterday's practice was business as usual. The meetings were sharp. Guys were into it. Energy in the room is excited and strong, and so we got a stiff test from our opponent. We know that, but that doesn't surprise us, and we'll be ready to go.
Going to be taken out tonight?
We'll find out. Yeah, we'll find out.
What you mentioned it the other night, you notice he's aggressive on pucks and so forth. Just what else have you noticed just about his acclimation? I mean, there was, he had a chance early in, I think, both games, and then I think maybe as the game went on, maybe you didn't notice him as much. Just what have you noticed?
I don't know. I think the third period was the third period of game 3 was probably his best period of the 6. But I think he's done a lot of good things. This is a big step. And he's going to be a great player. But you're still coming from junior hockey, no matter how high you're drafted, no matter how good you are, and you're not coming into just the American League. You're coming into the conference finals. You're playing the best team in the Eastern Conference. So that's a tall task for anybody. But I think he's done really well. He's a great teammate. Our guys love him. Plays his tail off, and he's tremendously talented. And I think that you saw more glimpses of the things that he's really good at, which is creating scoring chances for his teammates.
And the expectations for guys like that to come play for him, for these guys that come in late in the season, late in the playoffs, where maybe I know outside the room doesn't really factor for you guys too much, but when you see them on the ice, you're like, hey, look, these guys have even though they're brand new.
Well, I think number one is we don't put any expectations on them. All we want for them is to be good teammates, listen, learn, acclimate, play hard, give our team a chance to win. I think that both the last 2 games, we gave ourselves a great chance to win. We didn't win. That's part of it. You're playing a really good opponent. But I think that Matt and his teammates, both nights, we did things that gave us the opportunity to win, and now we need to do those things again and then capitalize on more of our chances. So I think from expectation standpoint is at this time of the year it's about doing things that you need to do to help your team win hockey games. Sometimes that leads to points, sometimes that doesn't. The outside pressure, that's just noise, and we try to leave that as a group for the team and for individuals on the outside, and focus in on the things we can control and trying to help our team win hockey games.
The X's and O's stuff you do this time of year where you've played, 80 plus games at this point. Are there hard breakdowns? I know you have a video, but how much of that is like really coaching about this? You've been doing this all season long.
Well, I'd say this, that 75 to 80% of our team, our identity isn't going to change. We're one of the last 4 teams playing in the American Hockey League with a really young lineup. And I think it's because our guys have been very good as the season went on at playing to the identity that we've carved out. But at the same point in time, you need to adjust, and we've made adjustments every game. So there are X's and O's adjustments that we've met on in the Syracuse series, in the Toronto series, and again in the Hershey series. Things that they do that we need to take away, things that they're doing that we could exploit better, things of that nature. So, we met about those things again yesterday. I think that we did some things in the second and third period from adjustments that we made that gave us better chances for offense, created more offense. Now we need to capitalize on more of those things.
Regular all year, and he's sat out a few games. Just how difficult is that for him maybe to handle as a rookie?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to anybody anytime, right? But our lineup, you asked about the lineups. we have not. This is the American Hockey League. We haven't had the same lineup like probably back to back more than 1 or 2 games the whole season because of call ups to Buffalo, call ups from Cincinnati, injuries, things of that nature. So that's the nature of the American League, that guys are in and out all the time. And, we had 7 defensemen for a lot of the first couple games of the playoffs because of our injuries. And Josh Pasolt was in the lineup, and did a great job helping us come back in that Syracuse series. So those things happen. Nobody likes being out of the lineup. But decisions need to be made, and you make those decisions. And then when you earn your opportunity to get back in there, you make sure you're ready so that you have to stay in.
The Ryan Johnson.
Yes, briefly. He got in. Ryan got in late last night. So I talked to him this morning for about 10, 15 minutes before he jumped on the ice. So yeah, he just got in. He probably got in 11:30 last night. Yeah, go ahead.
What makes him fit in? Obviously, it seems like he's not going to play. Like he's here to get angry.
They're all here to play. Now, probably won't play tonight, since he hasn't played in 6 weeks and 5 weeks since the national championship game, and he's been graduating from college, and he's had a lot of other things to do in his life and hasn't skated as much, and he hasn't been acclimated to us. But like I told Savoy, Nadeau, and RJ as well now, like they're here to soak up the experience, to learn, to see how good this level is, but also to try to fight for ice time and be ready for ice time if it comes. So you never know, and you need to make sure you're ready if your name's called.
What his style seems to fit in with the way the whole organization plays. What makes him fit in with this group on the ice? Well,
I can't answer that's probably great yet. I mean, I haven't been on the ice with him except for development camp and things like that, and then just watching him. But defensemen that can skate the way he can skate are rare commodities. They just are. They do, very few defensemen that are also pretty good size. He's not 6'4", but he's not a small defenseman. So defensemen that has a pretty good size, a good defender, and is as mobile as he is, those guys are hard to find. And that's why he was drafted as high as he was drafted, because there's not a ton of over 6 foot, very, very mobile defensemen that also defend extremely hard. So he had a heck of a year. He's on one of the best teams in the country. He was one of the best defending players on a really good defensive team. He had a lot of the hard matchups playing against NHL caliber players in a really good league in the Big Ten. So we know how talented he is, and we're just excited to have him in this organization. Whether it's for the stretch run for us now in the playoffs, who knows? But certainly in the next couple of years, he's a really, really talented young prospect that we're happy to have. I talked to Steve Miller. So Steve Miller's their defensive coach. Steve Miller and I worked together for 10 years at Denver. He's one of my best friends. I'm the godfather of his oldest child. So I talked to Killer Miller a lot about RJ throughout the year. So they loved him. Great teammate, really good defender, really good puck mover. He couldn't say enough good things about how well he played for them this year.
Right, yeah.
Hey, Coach. Just how important is it, or an emphasis on getting off to a hotter start? Just knowing how well Hershey is defensively, at kind of parking the bus and kind of limiting chances. Is that an emphasis of getting off to a better start, trying not to get behind early?
Well, it's interesting. So I think the last 2 games, our first 10 minutes have been really good. We just didn't put the puck in the net. So would we prefer to score first? Yes, we would. They are a very good defensive team. So you don't want to have to chase the game against them. But I will say in the last 2 games, I think we did things in the first 10 minutes of the game that we could have scored first, and we just didn't. Maybe that's our offensive execution, their defensive execution, or Shepard just made some big saves. So I always like to start the game well. I mean, that's something that we talk about, that we want to start on time. But I also, as a coach, I've never wanted to emphasize it over too much, because Toronto scored 15 seconds into the game. That didn't seem to deter us. You don't want to make something so big of a deal that you can't recover from it if it doesn't go the right direction.
Yeah, and just you talked about not getting frustrated after last game and some not being able to capitalize on the chances. You said it's time to get pissed off. Is it almost nicer to have that quick turnaround, only have one day off to kind of get right back to it when you feel like you've had chances?
I think we created a lot of offensive opportunities in the last two periods of that game. So we did some good things. Now we're going to have to do better things tonight to take advantage of those. But yes, I think you know, when sometimes when you lose a game, you'd like to get right back in and play again. I probably would prefer that this game was even earlier in the afternoon. You know, it's not waiting around all day. So the guys are excited. They know that we did good things, but we have to do better things to beat a team of Hershey's caliber.